think about it, every 1v1 you've seen of Rob has been on someone else's platform. And this is the thing that I don't like about the disrespect when it comes to Nazir and to Kevin, Uncle Scoob, is because a lot of y'all downplay their work ethic. And I really think a lot has to do with colorism because y'all big up mother freaking Rob, right? And he's been ghost for a whole year. He didn't play any 1v1s for a whole year, yet y'all was still putting him in top 3. It just, the guzzling just, it doesn't make sense. I mean, unless you're queer, it's all cool. You know what I'm saying? Queer to queer, it's all cool. But if you're a straight man, come on. The guzzling must cease of other men. I'm just saying, you can guzzle all you want on vaginas. Anyways, back to this, it's like, I really think a lot of this has to do with colorism. On top of the fact that I personally do not like Devontae Friga. No, I don't know this nigga from a can of paint, but I don't like his social media presence. Neither do I like Fat Calves, the white boy, his fellow white, kinfolk that has ownership in the TNC platform as well. And I've always remained the same. It's because you got these white boys or these white adjacent, because regardless of how people feel about it, Friga is not black. And when I say black is phenotypically, he's not black. At best, he's biracial, but he's not black. He doesn't present black. He's not raised in a black environment. And to be frank, he's on the outside of black culture because his family is predominantly white and biracial. But anyways, I never cared for him. Neither Fat Calves from Ballislife, the nigga that runs the platform with him, because I view them the same way I view the NBA, the same way I view the NFL, is that you got these people who want to come and sit here like, oh, you know, they give them little to nothing, pennies. And it's like, but the part that they try to get your best performance off of is, well, we have a huge platform and you get to utilize our platform and so many people see you. But what is seeing you when you're pulled out of an environment that you don't know nothing about that, right? You don't know, you may not know. I won't say you don't know, because some people through experience figure it out, while some people figure it out a little slower. But the average person don't come out of anything 100% knowing about this new experience that they just been, bombarded into. And so to assume that a person would be able to market and monopolize off of you giving them an appearance on your platform, like, to me, that's not enough. It's not. That's the same thing they do on the NFL. You get, hey, we got this platform. All these people see you. You ain't getting a dime, but you get to perform. You got to put all this work. You got to train. You got to practice. You got to deal with your sound and visual crew. You got to do all of this just to be seen. You don't get no paycheck, just to be seen. Although your merits, your work ethic helps them make capital. It don't make no sense. And this is why I don't like these niggas, because I look at them just like them. Remember when Draco played on TNC? Draco was full-blown sick. We're not even talking about having an injury and playing on an injury is asinine. However, what I thought was crazy was the fact that Draco, about a year ago, was mother freaking literally playing sick to the point where he was contagious sick. Like, nigga could have had COVID and was just playing because how they structure those contracts behind the scenes, how those agreements are arranged. These players who come from disenfranchised groups, that come from poverty, that comes from ignorance because they don't have knowledge to this new business aspect that is brought to them. And they agree that they have to make appearances, that they have to perform. Even if they're under weather, they're not compensated. They're not giving any, off time, PTO or anything of the sort. Although their contracts has them as if they're hired out to these platforms. Ballislife, I can't stand them either. TNC, I don't give a damn about none of these platforms. And to be frank, the blueprint to these platforms are Street Stars, which is a black-owned independent basketball platform. It was a blueprint because if y'all remember when TNC first came about, TNC was still trying to figure out what they were going to do. And then they started pulling from Street Stars, because Street Stars was the only space that was having legitimate 1v1s. It was straight to 11. You know what I'm saying? The only difference is that it was about the same. You had to have 5 foul calls to get a free throw and all this other stuff. And they just critiqued it. But at the end of the day, they literally took Street Stars blueprint and just tweaked it to fit their, their direction. That's it. And so when it comes to authenticity, I don't view any of these platforms, Ballislife, TNC, I don't view any of these platforms as authentic or authentic because of the fact that, one, is not authentic in the sense of, because people try to paint authenticity through the lens of seniority. Well, who was here first, or who made it bigger? Well, you get to claim it. You get to claim pioneer, you get to claim facilitator, you get to claim creator, because you managed to blow up and monopolize off it and capitalize off it a little better. Where Street Stars, they may not be doing as well as TNC or Ballislife. They don't have the following and the funding, and the endorsement and all this other stuff that they have, but they are the original creators. And that's Black culture. It's like that with hip hop. It's like that with our fashion. It's like that with our vernacular, our colloquialisms, is that we are the creators. We are the pioneers, right? We are the harbingers. And then you got these weirdos that come out of the woodworks that can't make no money. They can't make money off of their own ideas because it's flopping. Nobody is buying what they selling. But black culture, blackness is selling like sex. and that when you look at the creation of their platforms, the bulk of their platforms were built off of Black athletes. But yet when the athletes come in there, they treat them like these regular 9-to-5 jobs. You are treated as expendable. You are rotated out, and then they bring in somebody else, and then it's the promises of, hey, you get to be on our platform and get all these eyes on you. But if you don't know how to work those eyes, what good is that? And regardless of whether you know how to work it or not, I am a mother freaking employee on your within your business. Pay me, nigga, what I work. But see, this is the difference. And this is why I feel like Devontae Freeman just wanted to jump the line and come for Nas, right? He skipped school. Nigga never even played school. Just want to go for Nas. Why? Because one, Nas has the #1 spot and he's worked on his own for it. Every person that has been on TNC outside of the folks like Uncle Scoob, because it ain't that many, Nas, and I would say Nesco. There's a few more, but right now their names are evading my mind, and that's if they exist, because they're the only ones that's popping out right now. But these individuals, they literally created their own brand. They literally created their own strengths. And so this is why I feel like where he's sitting here talking about Nas is so egotistical and all this other stuff, I feel like Nas can beat his chest and walk around as tough and confident as he is, and a little bit boisterous, a little, overweening, because of the fact that he worked on his own to get there. And when I say on his own, please know he's accompanied by Jesus Christ. So it's not entirely on his own. But when I say on his own, not necessarily by the help of another man-made entity. He didn't get there off of the strength of Ballislife. He did not get there, off of the strength of TNC. He built his own platform. Y'all remember B. Ellis, Brandon Ellis from Louisiana, one of their little commentators. This nigga was This nigga constantly told them, hey, Cam, you need to create your own motherfucking YouTube and you need to post content. Tay, you need to do the same thing. Alex, A1, he was constantly telling these people to do that, and they weren't doing it. But you have people like Scoob. Nesco, he's a little newer, so I'm going to kick Nesco out because his platform is a little newer, and although he still could kind of fit in here, but he's being carried a little bit by Ballislife, I'll say that. But at least with Scoob and Nas is that they've developed their own platforms. They've been to these other places, and the reason why I could kind of squeeze in Nesco is because Nesco has been out here in different various spaces on different platforms developing his repertoire, right? And so this is why I feel like Nas and Scoob, they can advocate for themselves the way that they advocate for themselves because they're not the Dracos. They're not the Cams. They're not the Fombies, although Fombi is starting to do what Scoob and them has done. But they're not the Robs where I've never heard anything about Rob until he showed up on the TNC platform. And he's been consistently on the TNC platform outside of the onesie twosies, the Ballislife appearances or the overseas appearances. But for the most part, his YouTube knowings is through TNC platform. Everybody know about Scoob on his own merit through his own platform. And then within his own space, he was also supporting street stars. Same with Nas. When I think I first seen Nas, I think he did like a little appearance on Friga's personal platform. And I think it was like a 5v5 that turned into a one-on-one type thing. I forget now. It was like about 2 or 3 years ago. But they've been independently working for their matters. And that's how I viewed them, especially Scoob. Because Scoob don't have Ballislife filming for him and Ballislife editing his stuff and Ballislife, motherfucking brands all on his YouTube platform. Scoob is original. But this is why I feel like they have that room to talk the junk that they talk, because they're like independent artists. These labels can talk as big as they want when they got the Drakes, when they got the Kendricks, when they got the Beyonce, because they have these big stars, but they're under their control. They're on their platform. But when you have these big stars like the Mooney Longs, you know what I'm saying? When you have these big stars who are independent, nigga, these platforms can't tell them nothing. And if those platforms want them in their space, they have to abide by what their arrangements are, because you will not get them, because they don't need you. They don't need you. That's the difference between the A1s. That's the difference between the people that you see on these platforms. They're not independent artists. They're literally looking for a label to put them on. And TNC is the equivalent of a music label putting them on. And because the music label is putting you on, they have motherfreaking coerced every aspect in your life and stripped you from your autonomy. So this is why he chased after Nas. He don't have no claim to Nas' stature, Nas, presence. The same thing with Scoob, the same thing with Nesco. But he wanted to come for Nas because Nas is the one person that has consistently won his 1v1s. And the fact that he has been deemed number one by most people. So I say all that to say, if you really think about it, the TNC platform, Freak ain't nothing but a colonizer, right along with Fat Calves. And like I continue to say, hey, I support the athletes, especially my skin folk. Work it out for my skin folk, okay? Because at the end of the day, people shouldn't be slaving like Draco. Draco was full-blown sick, contagiously sick, and still played. He risked motherfreaking tainting the entire staff. Everybody could have been out due to an illness because they motherfreaking forced that dude hand to play because of the way that they have the agreements situated. It's kind of like the court system. They mask their coercion to look like, oh, it's not coercion. We're giving you options and you're choosing that, even though the options are limited and the stuff that they put you through distorts your mind to where you're not even capable to make sound, logical decisions. Let's finish this video out. If you want people to think otherwise of you more positively, then give them more positive experiences.